So now there's a continuation part for security, and now we are going to talk about IAM users. So previously we discussed about AWS root account. Now this time IAM users. So IAM users with the least privileges necessary. So least privileges is necessary. So what is meaning of least privileges? Okay, privileges is nothing but importance. We are giving an importance for a particular feature. So now only the permissions necessary to accomplish needed task. What is meaning of only permissions necessary to accomplish needed task? Example, today Mahesh Namai joined our batch. Okay, so I'm providing access to him by using IAM. Okay, you don't have AWS account. So let's take an example. This is a very small scenario related to our class. But you don't know anything about AWS completely. Because of you, rest of the people, you already traveled with me more than a week. So you know each and every part. Okay. If I'm providing directly for AWS all services a full account access and I'm providing a videos, what he will do basically? He will go and he will create some instances, some EBS volumes, some user accounts. He will create it, right? So after that, what will happen? You don't have much knowledge to do the particular service. Definitely, he will create some problem in that particular service level for our account. So as an example, he will create a EC2 instance, and after that his work he will not delete properly because he is not attended previous class along with me. Understood? So for that reason, so we would recommend that whatever task we are assigning to him, only the particular policies we need to attach to the user, only restricted access to provided for IAM user. We should not provide all access for all services. Understood? So that will be a more security. Even our organizations also we are following the least privileges method. That means we are provided with the level of what task he is doing. So the task related policies only we are assigning. Example, here daily you are working on S3 based work. So we are provided S3 based policies access. Understood? Okay. So I'll go to lab. So now we have IAM users. We have IAM users. In IAM user example, I'm taking one of the user here. So what is the security credentials we are providing? Go here and see here, sign in credentials. Even not only we are providing a MFA device access to your root account, and you can configure a MFA device for users also. Understood? So now how to assign MFA devices for individual users? Very simple. The same way what we followed, and click on manage, and you can use the same option, click next, and you can configure it. No changes at all. No changes at all. Okay. I have a question. I have a question. Can we configure, there are with a single device for multiple user access? With a single device, can we configure multiple user access for MFA? At present in my
No,
mobile,
man.
at present in my mobile, I configured with a root account access. Can we configure with the same mobile, same application? Can we configure user one?
Actually, on a virtual device, maybe, yeah.
Yes, we
I
can do
think.
that. Yes. So virtual device will
Yes.
support for, we can provide access for multiple users. But hardware token, no, it is not possible. Okay. Hardware token, it is not allowing to create for multiple users. Okay. Now, so you know, right? So access keys for individual users. The IAM users by default access keys will be there. You can use it, and SSH keys will be available, guys. Okay, SSH keys. So secure shell keys for is that. Can you please note down in a pending topic? Can you please note down in pending topic? Guys, I want to maintain everyone pending topics. If who are not maintain the pending topics, they are losers. I'm straight away I'm telling they are losers. Because mostly they will definitely after 10 days, 15 days, you'll forget that message. Okay, you'll forget the topic, and I will not the cover maybe if I'm not covering the topic. So please think who is the losers. So please note down each and every point, the pending items in a notepad, right? So this will be explaining in the code commit, guys. So basically, when any person was uploading the code and managing it, authentication access, they will use it. There is a separate keys they'll be maintaining. This is one more method of security access. Okay, AWS SSH keys for AWS code commit. So please note down. Please note down. The pending topic is from IAM SSH keys for AWS code commit, and the same way, and you can note down HTTP's Git credentials for AWS code commit. This will be I will explain in DevOps concept Git repository. This topic I'll explain in Git repository. Okay, please note down.
Quick question. I see sign-in certificates. Are we going to talk about that for?
So Cassandra is a different service, is a big data kind of service, and so they are also they're generating the credentials. Even I'm not expert in Cassandra. Okay, um, so I'll help you how to managing the credentials for Apache Cassandra services. Okay, I'll explain very introductory thing uh, after that. So whenever I'm explaining these services, but I'm not experienced in Cassandra services. Who are all doing big data, um, Kafka, Cassandra. These are the tools will be they'll working on daily basis. Okay, so that's how will be they'll taking care of it. So this will be explaining how to generate the certificates and what is the use of the certificates for Cassandra services. I'll explain later. Okay, these are the pending items. Please note down that. And now moving to the slide. So these are the very important points, guys. Multi-factor authentication. So for interview purpose, we write down some points. MFA provides added security for AWS resources and account settings. Yes, it is a two-factor authentication. Yes. So the whatever the machine you are using, like a Google Authenticator or maybe RSA token, these are used for two-factor. That means that two steps of verification they will be followed. Even any step is failed, they will not allow to log in. So first factor authentication, mostly username and password, and second set of factor would be MFA code that you know very well. If a user logs into AWS account, he will be prompted for username and password and a multi-factor authentication code. Just we already seen that. AWS does not charge any additional fees for using MFA. It's a free service. Okay, it's a free service. You can create for each user MFA level access. So definitely, who are all administrator in AWS? So everyone we have a multi-factor authentication code. Okay, I have a question. Anyone can answer it. Example, I'm working in one of the topmost company. We have a 10,000 users. We have a 10,000 users in the company. Everyone, each and every employee I calculated, there are 10,000 employees are working. We are mainly using AWS services. Entire our data center is in AWS. We have all the departments. We have all the IT departments. Now can tell me how many users will create in IAM users? How many user accounts will be created in IAM?
No, 10,000, I guess.
Okay, that's a wrong answer. Sorry to say. Anyone can answer it?
100.
Okay. Can you give me an example why 100?
Be- mm, why? Because I saw I saw somewhere in the IM user I saw the limited users is 100.
Okay,
Somewhere I saw
okay,
I could not remember.
okay.
Maybe based on the department wise, we can create users, Mahesh. If for a company out of 10,000 members, we have certain departments. Based on that, for every department, we can create one user.
Who is answering this? Naresh?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Uh, yes, the answer is the value is not correct. So users in AWS account, 5,000 users we can create. Okay, not 100, 5,000 users we can create. Okay, the number is not correct. And the answer is the number of administrators for a service who's managing inside of AWS data center. So those mean user account they created. Example, we have a SQL administrator. We have a 20 SQL administrator. That means 20 user accounts will be created in AWS and will they provided access for database. And we have a Active Directory people and there's a Windows team. We have a 40 members team. 40 users will be created in AWS and they'll provide it for respective services permissions. And they have a web service team, might be 20 members. The 20 members will be created in AWS IAM as user accounts and they'll provide limited access. So the number of administrators who supporting the services in AWS, those accounts only created. The maximum limit is 5,000 and the 10,000 is not will not created. All the 10,000 users will be created in AD Active Directory, but all the 10,000 users will not created in AWS IAM. So those all are rest of the people except administrator, remaining all are end users. So end users they will not access AWS. Understood? End users, if the entire 10,000 people is working on a company, there is no guarantee for all 10,000 people have complete knowledge about in AWS. Only administrators they have a knowledge about in AWS. Rest of the people not required. Understood? So that's what I'm asking this question to you all guys. Only administrator access, not for users. Users means he is managing the service. He is the administrator.
So
Yeah, you can ask your question.
yeah, I think so. It is best practice, right, to have each, and that's the way, I practice. I don't know if that's what you recommend to have each department have their own AWS account. I think
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Each,
it's,
each department
just
have
for
each,
yeah,
each department have one particular user group and again we have some limited access and full access groups will be they created and some users will be created and users will be part of the particular IAM groups. So whatever the permissions is assigned for the particular group, that permissions only it will allowed for practicing on the AWS management console.
So,
If
is it your recommendation to have departments have their own AWS account? I suppose for things like you know uh, role. They all have different roles, right? So they want to be accountability, right?
yes, that's correct.
For
I'll take
um,
example. I'll take
I want
example. I'll do that. Uh, we have a Windows team. So Windows team, they have some couple of responsibilities. So like that, they want to managing Active Directory. That means they want to create a user accounts and user account permissions, and they're creating Windows virtual machines. And Windows virtual machine, they have to install some basic needed softwares. So they want to provide it only for IAM user and EC2 access. That's enough. EC2 access. Only he is managing EC2 service. He is not touching any other service. Even though you are getting a job in your company, you will not work all the services, guys. Only you are working on very 2 to 3 services only, not for all the services. Why we are learning means we don't know how many services you will be using after you getting the job. So for that reason, you are learning in AWS complete course. Understood? I'm getting some candidates inquiries on daily basis. Some students they're asking, Mahesh, I don't want all the services. Can you please teach me only a couple of services like EC2, S3, and Elastic Block Storage? Some people only looking for VPC. So like that, there are people also coming like that. Understood? So because they don't need it for all the services to learn. Whatever on daily basis they're doing some jobs that is called tasks they're provided by the particular team. Only those services we are managing. We don't get all the admin access. If you get all the admin access, definitely you'll messing your project. It will create a big problem for you. Because of entire AWS account, you will get a full administrator access. You are not a complete knowledge on all the services. Okay, you will definitely in the problem. Example, I'm a senior administrator. Even I'm able to configure all the services, but I'm not managing after that all the services in AWS. Only respected services only I'm doing that. Okay. So, but we have to follow some limits. So the limits are nothing but username. Whenever you're creating username, there's a 64 characters, and a group name 128 characters, role name 64 characters, policy name 128 characters. So these are the limitations. And again, groups in AWS account, we have only create 300 groups. 300 groups only we can create. And roles in AWS account 1000, and users in AWS 5000 users we can create. Okay. So moving to the previous slide. So now in our mobile we used a virtual MFA device. So you can use it for Google Authenticator is available. So for your Android phones, iOS and Windows phones. Okay. And nowadays it's available for BlackBerry phones also. You can check that.
Hey, sir, can we use Azure MFA?
Yes, you can use it. Now Azure MFA. No. Sorry. Only it's if it is supported, you can use it. The Azure MFA is they'll use it. But for Azure MFA means, so how you are connecting AWS Management Console access with the Google Authenticator. The same way you can configure your Google Authenticator with the MFA on Azure account. It is possible. If any Azure was developing any new products for MFA, those MFA devices will not support it for Azure. Sorry, AWS. That's not possible. So I'll give you the list of softwares in WhatsApp, so you can check that later. Okay. So the list of applications currently in the market, what are the supported, you can check that. So at present, the market leader is RSA. Let's you can check here. RSA soft token. This is the RSA soft token. If you want to, you can check that. You can download from the Android Google Play Store on your phone. But actually, this device cannot directly connected to your AWS account. So we need a mediator, and we have to paid services with the RSA. That will be chargeable. So for that reason, I am not discussing this. Okay. Any more questions?